Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, Descendants of American Slaves, with science, technology, and what the future may hold. This podcast deals with how science and technology intertwines with Descendants of American Slaves, or DOAS peoples, how it affects us, and what the future may hold for us. So I'm going to read an article here out of CNN Business, which was published on August 10th, 2022. The title of the article is SpaceX Denied Nearly $900 Million in Broadband Subsidies. This is basically to do with Elon Musk, SpaceX, and Starlink business ventures. And you may have heard about them in the news as of late. I think one of the biggest things that they have out there is that they send up your average citizens to space. Now, of course, most of these citizens are pretty well-to-do or in the upper echelons of society, usually the 1%ers of the world. But nonetheless, his company has managed to demystify space travel and expand it to the public at large. If nothing else, but to begin to realize that space travel indeed may be possible for all. So again, from CNN Business, the article starts out, in a high-stakes decision, federal regulators announced Wednesday that SpaceX will not receive nearly $900 million in subsidies that the company was awarded in December. Subsidies, by the way, is basically free money via the taxpayer. Those of us who work and have been working all our lives, we pay taxes. And that tax money goes to the government. And the government, in good faith, is supposed to use it for the betterment of the nation or the countrymen at large. They have it set up where businesses nowadays can ask for monies. And when you receive a subsidy, it is in the form of a grant, and you do not have to pay it back, and it is also tax-free. So in this case, Elon Musk company, SpaceX, has asked for $900 million of that, almost $1 billion. He was awarded it in December, but now they have reneged on that or retracted that grant or free money. So it goes on to say they cited that the fact that its satellite-based service is still developing technology, and the company failed to demonstrate that it could deliver the promised service. The Federal Commission Communications had earmarked the funds for SpaceX Starlink internet service as part of the agency's largest ever subsidized program, designed to quickly get internet access to people across rural America, where 3 out of 5 people say access to high-speed internet is still a pressing issue. And these are basically going to be your white people, right? White America that is living out, whether it's on farmland or they're living in the hills or the mountains or just in areas where it is not populated. The population is sparse. It goes on to say, the article goes on to say, SpaceX was slated to receive a total of $856 million, one of the largest chunks of the $9 billion that was auctioned off. But that will no longer happen. After careful legal, technical, and policy review, we are rejecting these applications, FCC Chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel said in a statement. Consumers deserve reliable and affordable high-speed broadband. We must put scarce subsidy dollars to their best possible use as we move into a digital future that demands even more powerful and faster networks. We cannot afford to subsidize ventures that are not delivering the promised speeds or are not likely to meet program requirements. Now, the FCC also observed data that indicates that Starlink speeds have been declining from the last quarter of 2021 to the second quarter of 2022. SpaceX has said that it already has more than 400,000 customers across the globe, and the company has poured resources into building up the service. It's already launched nearly 3,000 satellites, which work in tandem to beam internet access to the ground. That's a far different approach than traditional speed internet, which relies on underground fiber optic cables. As part of the same announcement, the FCC also said it's denying a $1 billion award earmarked for LTE broadband, citing the fact that the internet service provider failed to obtain proper status and approvals for service in 7 states. Furthermore, the Wireline Competition Bureau, which develops telecommunications policies, has determined that based on the totality of the long-form applications, the expansive service areas reflected in their winning bids, and their inadequate responses to the Bureau follow-up questions, LTD and Starlink are not reasonably capable of complying with the Commission's requirements. And this is what the FCC said in a public notice. And basically, you guys, it seems like, they are still in the development plans of providing the service to rural areas where we have prominently white people, and we know that those of European descent or those who classify themselves as white, they're going to get the service that they want. They're going to be provided what they need in order to live in an ever technological, scientific society. And it seems that there is no amount of money that they can or should provide or should not provide without it. So it makes sense that they would want to, give this out. But it seems like they had looked at it and decided that that is not something that they, or the government had decided that that is something that they wish to do. That's a lot of money, just to say. And also too, as Black people, we're not earmarked for that amount of money. That's not something that we actually have. And so it's just astounding to see that and to hear that. So let me go ahead and read on. Rosenwald cited the cost of Starlink as part of the reason for the denial. Starlink's technology has promised... I think I've already read that. So the Federal Communication Commission estimates that 21 million Americans, about 1 in 15, still lack access to high-speed internet. The actual number could be far higher, perhaps even double the FCC's estimated, according to Broadband Now studies. For its part, SpaceX has been able to raise more than twice that 900 million figure through routine fundraising so far in 2022. Though SpaceX has other expensive projects to fund, including a rocket called Starship that's expected to play a key role in NASA's next moon landing. The company is valued at more than $125 billion, according to the analytics firm PitchBook. SpaceX did not respond to requests for comment, nor does it typically respond to press inquiries. LDT did not immediately respond to the request for more comment. There is one part of this that I meant to read. So here in the middle of this, and I forgot to read this, sorry folks, but this is the most important part, the crucial part. This part of the article says that the FCC's $9 billion subsidy package called the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund was funded by fees that are routinely taken from internet customers in the United States. The idea is to siphon funds from urban areas where connectivity is plentiful and use that to subsidize the hefty costs of expanding internet infrastructure into more remote locations. Okay, so this is the crux here, right? Like that $9 billion subsidy package that's out there, that 900 million was going to be given to Elon Musk coffers, was taken out of urban communities. And when you think urban, or what you know about urban, what we all do is that those are primarily Black people, descendants of American slaves, who are struggling to even survive. But apparently we have enough money in our coffers that we can give it, or that the government can give it for free to people who have more money than they'll ever spend. It goes to show in real terms that the idea of the rich take from the poor, and we are really the poorest of the poor in America. So much so that we do not live the American life. So how does this help white people? Well, I think the article says it in and of itself. You can live literally on a mountain in some remote part of this country, or probably anywhere in the world, and receive top internet services. Without interruption. You can start a business and be funded for that business for free to the tune of $900 million, which is something unheard of in the descendants of American slaves community. And we built this country. What does that mean for us as DOAS people? What that means for us is that not only is the future here, but with the advent of reparations as a package, technology has to be included and should be included. And that our mission should be that we get our hands on that technology as quickly as possible. And that, yes, the government ought to, should, and owes, and has the ability to fund it with no expectation that we'll pay it back, and tax-free. Thank you for watching and listening, and I hope to see you soon again. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this podcast if you found it enjoyable. Please leave a comment.